Hello, everybody, and welcome to the most important show ever. This is NNN News Season 3, your only source for truth, tenacity, and truth. As always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Neville Croft. Welcome, Nev.
Hello, Governor. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, CHaze here, on the Talkie Cube. Could you introduce yourself?
Is that how you say the name, Nev? That's a really... I know we just started, but you kind of... I think you might have...
Have I messed up the guest's name?
Well, anyway, we'll let them say. Well, welcome, CHaze. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah. CHaze, actually, in both instances, the first letter is actually silent.
Wow.
It's actually just Haze.
Oh.
Now, is that an Ebonic sort of thing, or how did you come up with that name? That's fantastic.
Well, that's actually my name. It's just spelled different in different cultures.
Ah.
You know, we are learning something new when we just started. Wow, well, that's fantastic. Well, today's going to be a slightly different episode of NNN News. Unlike in the past, where we've started with the interview segment, we're going to be actually starting with just the news. I mean, are you guys ready for this? Because it gets pretty scary in the news zone.
There's going to be a very riveting change of pace.
Certainly will. Well, let's just slam right into it with our first article here. It says, why the Great American Lawn is terrible for the West water crisis. I mean, what do you guys think here? I think this is another reason that we just all should live in cities. I mean, what do you think, CHaze?
This is why we should do a water tax.
Yeah, good idea. CHaze, what do you think about this? I mean,
first of all, I think it's terrible. I mean, it's a complete thing of vanity. I think lawns, I think golf courses in particular, they all just have to go. Replace it with, a sleek, painted concrete for your front yard. Never requires water. I think, personally, a lot of those homes would look better with it anyways. They just look obnoxious.
Yeah, so you guys heard it here first. Get rid of this grass crap. Replace it with some concrete. And anyway, I had a note from our producers here. It just says front lawns are for fascists. So, I mean, that seems pretty fair to me, to be honest with you.
Didn't your wife, prod you to have a front lawn now?
She did. That was one of the many things that she prodded me about. I thought it was unreasonable. I'm like, costs a lot of money to water a front lawn. I mean, and what's wrong with sort of gray weeds or whatever? It just grows naturally.
Yeah.
I thought that I was building like an urban, natural weed farm. We had lilies and things. It was fantastic. But anyway, apparently not. Next article here says the second country to adopt Bitcoin as a natural currency is Central African Republic. And I want to say I do support the Central African Republic, because they're African. But at the same time, is this a good move? I don't know.
Well, I think they could be falling into the hands of tyrants like Elon Musk, whatever his name is.
That is a good point. I mean, if the Central African Republic can centralize Bitcoin, I mean, that might be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Although I think that they're opening themselves up for, actors, bad actors to probably infiltrate their currency, as well as, corrupt governments all of a sudden can, empty out their e-wallets. They could possibly be setting themselves up for danger.
You are certainly right here. Now, I will say we're seeing them adopt Bitcoin. Do you think we're going to see any country have any sort of NFT bartering system come about? Maybe it's some sort of natural trading. I mean,
it's certainly possible.
Could we see somebody say something like, "I'll trade you one Bored Ape for your bundles of bananas"? I mean, does that seem like a reasonable trade to you guys? I mean, to me it does, because the Bored Ape does hold value,
market value,
eternally.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the issue. I mean, should we really be using?
And what does a banana really hold other than potassium? The Bored Ape. Think about this, guys. You really got to think about this, because the Bored Ape holds market value, but the banana, that just holds potassium. And I mean, that's like you can eat it and you're done. Bored Ape, eternally valuable. So, really, I think more countries should adopt this. I think this is a great step, to be honest with you.
Especially with the NFT. Yeah, they just had that one football player release his, marijuana gas mask one from his draft day, which is obviously an awful situation.
Yep.
But if it could then be turned around and help a place like Africa, I think that would be beautiful.
Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself. I got to agree with you 100%. Our next article here says 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats vote no on bill urging Biden to confiscate assets from sanctioned Olive Gardens, oligarchs. I'm not sure what that word means. Now, can you're pretty good with these big words.
So I think what it is, as you said, an Olive Garden.
It's
So
Olive
with
Gardens.
these people, I think they're Russians or something who owned
Okay.
Olive Gardens. They're not having their Olive Gardens taken from them.
Interesting. So why are these? Why? I mean, I understand the Republicans are stupid. That's why they're voting against taking over the Olive Gardens. But why are these 4 Democrats also voting no on this? CHaze, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I mean, is it Olive Gardens or is it actually like a Russian guy, Oleg Arches?
Oleg?
I don't know.
Let's inspect it. Definitely the word oil's in there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Gark? Oilgark. What is an oilgark? Now it's sounding like D&D. Is this like a role play thing to these people? No. This is serious business, guys.
Yeah, I think we can pretty much go down the list of, who's who there. I mean, it's probably Getz and Boebert and Marjorie Taylor on, that side is, fill in the blank on the extra crazy. And then, of course, you got Manchin, Cinema, anyone who, doesn't support Build Back Better.
Yeah. Now, I'm about to throw a real spanner in the works for you all. Now, this doesn't usually happen on the show, but I did read actually part of the article. And it looks like one of the representatives that is voting no, and this is scary, guys, is our queen AOC.
What?
If AOC doesn't support Olive Gardens, how can we?
Okay, well, we need
to
stop
really rethink our position on this, guys.
That reframes it.
Okay, no, I know we have the Olive Garden book next week. We're going to have to cancel it.
So wait. Yeah, okay. So, but no, if you're voting no on bills because confident Olive Garden, then we're in support of Olive Garden, Nev.
This is too much for me to handle.
Okay, maybe we should just get to the next article because I really think that we're definitely stretching some people. Trigger warning to anybody who has a weak brain. These articles can get very scary. Okay. Our next article. And another trigger warning for Russia. I know a lot of people are afraid of Russia, very reasonably afraid. Anyway, Russia uses cyber attacks in Ukraine to support military strikes, reports find. This is wow.
How are we going to stop this?
Yeah, we need a Discord defense force to really because we would not have let Putin do any cyber attacks, right?
Yeah.
If we got the real Discord, like the best Discord moderators in the business on this, I think we could handle this. So tell me this. Why does the FBI, why does Biden not try to track down some of these top Discord moderators to get them to handle Putin?
I think maybe they're afraid of the powers of these Discord moderators.
Wow.
I mean, these are really brave, wonderful people who devote their livelihoods to Discord servers. I mean, if that's not incredible and inspiring, I don't know what else is.
I think you're right, Nev. They must just be in awe of the military power of the Discord Defense Force. Now, another question here, and maybe I'll put this out to CHaze, because I know you're kind of a techie, CHaze. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Yep.
I mean, behind you in the picture, we have a bunch of real. You have like a real big tech setup on the stream, so people can see you're a big tech person. So I got to know, why can the Ukrainian people not just use a VPN? Tell me.
Well, actually, interestingly, we're not providing them for some reason at this point with Nord. Yeah, we need to start providing them with crazy. Nord as well as Norton. We need to have some
can we get them a McAfee suite as well, you think?
It's good software, but troublesome from the the original founder. That's true. I say we stick with Norton.
Okay, Norton.
That way, it doesn't upset.
And get him off this crap Spersky stuff.
Exactly. I'd also, I'm not a big fan of them using Starlink. With that Musk fella. I think
very musky, that guy.
That too. God, yeah.
The worst. Very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very bad. No good. Don't like him. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And that was a great transition you just did, because our next story is actually about Elon Musk. Oh. And I want to say this is one of the scariest stories we've ever had. We talked about this last week, but Elon Musk is now selling $8 billion worth of his own Tesla stock to help fund his Twitter deal. This is a Twitter takeover. I mean, can we let this sort of hostility go on in the workplace?
This is an attack on our freedoms.
It really is.
It's essentially we're watching an American oligarch's
I think it's Olive Garden.
War coffers, Olive Garden.
Yeah.
His war coffers, and he's going to be attacking free speech that we've all enjoyed.
Yep. And
so many people are going to be misgendered on Twitter now. It's going to be a massacre.
I mean, the next thing he might do to raise money, maybe he's going to start actually selling and shipping Teslas. I mean, that would be crazy, right?
Oh no, that'd be just insane.
Was that too much, you think, for him?
He's got his
ship the product
fingers in so many different pots.
Sure.
It's better to do everything half-assed than it is to
just throw
do any one thing well.
Throw the money around. I feel you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what they say: a jack of all trades is pretty good. I think. Is that what they say?
Yeah, I like that.
Pretty good.
That sounds right. Anyway, our next story is about community hero Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Even though I will say our next comment is, maybe he didn't make a jazz hands worthy comment here. Dr. Fauci is walking back about his comments about the quote-unquote pandemic phase being over, or us no longer being the pandemic phase. Obviously this was just a misspeak. Maybe it was even a bad mic. I mean, we don't even know, right? I don't
know that anything on my screen right now is factual because at the top I see New York Post.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I will say I hate to use the New York Post, but they post a lot. That's the problem. So I gotta, I want to try to provide some alternative side. But good point. So I think honestly, disregard this article, guys. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
That's a relief. I was really, on edge with that article there.
You're really helping us out here, CHaze. I mean, this is a way to deal with news you don't like. I mean, right?
I'm so glad
perfect.
we have a tech wizard here
that's
who's
what I do.
knowledgeable with this stuff.
Hashtag.
Is there a report button?
Yeah. Let's see. No, I don't see any report button. Probably because they're fascists. But I'm definitely going to be I'm going to be telling Fauci about this. And
can we not send like a really blunt email about this? Complaining.
Sure. I'm sure we can do that.
No, I can't speak here. Our intern Wilbur on the case.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't even ask this, but Nev, you would know. Should we still be wearing 3 masks now, or with 2?
Yes.
I'm
wearing 2. I'm wearing 2
Okay.
because I feel a bit relaxed today. I feel, my
what's the
sister's
current
not home,
COVID
so I'm
panic
feeling
level,
quite
Nev?
safe. Right now, I'd give it probably a 7.5 out of 10.
Wow, we're at 7.5 out of 10. So that's a 2 mask zone. That's a 2 mask zone.
Yeah, I've got 2. This is 2 masks.
Okay.
Usually, I feel about an 8 or a 9, but today I'm feeling a 7.5. So 2 masks. Normally I'm wearing 3.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first, guys. Yeah, every day you should wake up and check the current COVID safety level.
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to plan your day accordingly?
Exactly.
Totally. All right. Our next story here is also from the New York Post. So I'm just going to read the headline, but feel free to disregard it as I'm reading it. Biden blasted for policing free speech with a quote-unquote dystopian disinformation bureau. Now, I knew this was kind of a crappy article because I'm honestly, do we even need free speech at this point?
No. I mean, I've always said that free speech is too free.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we're seeing the issue with the free market now with this Elon guy, right? So
yeah, that's too free as well.
Yeah. Cut down on some freedoms. I think we'll have a better world. I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think as we've seen a lot of people, look at last year's election. A lot of people have, 2020. A lot of people have difficulty thinking for themselves. If nothing else, I think for a lot of the times it's a kindness to help them. You don't have to sort through all the nonsense. Here is the message. Soak it in.
Yeah. Here's the truth. Read it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Well said. Yeah.
I think with a lot of these people, it's easier if we do the thinking for them.
Yeah, and I just want to make an edit to this. If I was to release the New York Post and it wasn't a fascist news organization, the word I would use would be utopian disinformation bureau.
Woo-hoo.
Woo-hoo.
That's an excellent one. Yeah, I've seen them comparing it to the book 1984 as if they can read.
As if they've, come on.
Yeah, it's
to them,
like,
1984. I mean, they know more about the real 1984. Like disco music.
Yeah.
They were all 37 at that point. So yeah, no, that makes sense.
Now, next story is pretty kind of a happy one, to be honest with you. I mean, I want to say it's from NPR, so we are getting smarter reading this. And it's Italian children should not automatically receive their father's quote-unquote surname, even though I think surname is a sexist term, court says.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, this is a victory for women if I've ever seen one.
I mean, yeah, a great victory for women, another victory for person-kind.
Mm-hmm. Women and non-binary folks alike, for sure here. Now, I got to ask, should we even still be calling it a surname at this point?
No, it should be they name.
A they, them name?
It name, their name.
Oh, Zername.
Zername.
I think Zername sounds good.
Yeah, that's a really good one, actually.
Yeah. So everybody, please stop referring to it as a surname. It's a Zername now. And I'm glad that Italian children are no longer going to have to put up with this, this patriarchy, really.
Yeah. They can live in freedom now. True freedom.
True freedom. And there ain't nothing like it. Next story here is from the BBC, so from your country, Nev. It goes, minorities of men in politics behave like animals, says Sulan Braverman. Now, I do want to say, love the name because she definitely is strong and brave, but I wish that she could change the name so it didn't have man in it.
Maybe replace the A with an X, or maybe braver person.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Braver person.
What about if
would
she
help
were
the
to
cause.
insert dene, and between the braver and man, braver than a man.
Oh,
I think
wow.
That perfect.
That is
incredible.
Perfect. Wow. So, yes, let me reread the headline with that so we could see the impact, just so we can send this to her publicist so she knows. Minority of men in politics behave like animals, says Sula, braver than a man.
Wow.
Wow.
There's so much
great ring to it. Yeah.
That really does.
Thank you, Hayes. That's incredible.
This begs the question, should men even be in politics at this point?
No. Except Joe Biden, because we like him. He's good.
And Joey's like our uncle, right? He's like that uncle you have that, you love.
Yeah, he's like the great uncle that you kind of look up to. He's wise. We can give him a pass.
He's got the girl pass at this point,
Yeah,
he's allowed to speak.
He has a female vice president.
Yeah.
All right.
One that's a woman as well. I mean, of color.
Yep, one that is a woman as well. Yes.
And he's actually several times recognized her as being the president. So I mean, he's forward thinking in that way.
Really, it's so powerful. Maybe we should bring Quinn's chastity idea into the Senate. To be honest with you, I mean, maybe that way we could have some men.
I mean, we're still waiting on Cardi B going in there as well, so you got to leave room now.
Good point. We definitely don't want to outshine Cardi B. I would never want to do that. Our last story here in the recent news segment comes from USA Today, even though I think it came out a couple days ago. Anyway, Russia is using dolphins to protect Black Sea naval base, satellite photos suggest. This is absolutely terrifying. I mean, this doesn't seem vegan.
Did they at least ask for the dolphins' consent to
I don't
be part
think
of
so,
this
Nev.
operation?
I don't think so, Nev. That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, this is akin to animal abuse, if you ask me. I mean, which is just
it's slavery.
disgusting.
I want every member of of the NNN News audience right now to just send some spiritual, positive energy towards the dolphins to free them from these Russian ties.
Wasn't that part of a comedy movie, that Austin Powers movie? Like, something had laser beams on their head.
Yeah, I think it was laser dolphin sharks, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally at this point dealing with
sharks with freaking laser beams. It's terrifying.
Minus the medical degree.
Yeah.
And we just need to take this.
We got to think about this, though. What animals do we need to get on our sides if they already have the dolphins? By coercion or any other means? I mean, what do we got to do? Who do we got to get? I'm thinking some
trained orcas.
Orcas, sure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can,
killer
pick a
whales.
vegan animal.
Huh?
Maybe a vegan animal.
A vegan animal would be good.
That's a good point. We could
like
my cat's vegan.
You said, oh yeah, we could send your cat in there now. That'd be a great idea.
My cat
manatees. That's what I was thinking.
Manatees.
Yeah,
although,
the very peaceful.
maybe,
I have a
maybe we
question.
could have them be woman tees.
Yeah.
Good point.
Now,
I got a question as well. So
Sure.
my cat Che recently came home with a dead bird in its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm really confused because
it's vegan.
I mean, it can't. My cat, it's a vegan. It doesn't eat other animals.
Weird.
So why did it bring a dead bird home?
Well, maybe the bird was dead when it found it, and it was just trying to give it a proper burial.
That's my thought.
You should consider that.
I wanted to honor the animal.
So you should consider that. Now, I want to say one last thing about this news article before we get into the interview segment. I'm just hoping that the orcas don't get drafted from SeaWorld, because that would be really sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
No forced animal conscription.
No forced animal conscription. You heard it here on NNN News. Next up, we're going to have the CHaze interview, so make sure you stay tuned for that right now. Hello, we're in the CHaze interview. Nev, you want to start or should I start?
I think you should start, Norm.
Wow.
Your question is first on the list.
That's very perceptive of you, Nev. Glad you realized
I'm feeling
that.
extra perceptiving today.
Well, good. All right, well, let me just take it away, CHaze, with our first question here. How could we possibly prepare for a 2020 presidential run of Donald J. Trump? I mean, one of the most terrifying prospects imaginable.
A 2021?
2024, I mean.
2024. God, I think we need to first agree that, he's not going to be running literally anywhere. However,
that's true.
If the Republicans want to roll that, mangled colored piece of flesh across the stage so he can awkwardly drink water, I say let him have at it. I think the likelihood is that they're going to run our queen, Michelle Obama, and it's in the hole. However. Mm-hmm. I do think that, we need to be prepared all the same. There's a possibility that, he could be on Twitter. Right now, he is currently on Truth. Everybody needs to create Truth accounts.
Yeah. We need to be anti-truth, right? We need to build truth accounts to fight the Trump truth.
Just blast him with negative comments, every chance you get. Have your
whatever you got.
Memes.
Yeah. We got to be reply guys. I mean, reply persons.
Well,
I do a lot of what I call dry fire drills, where I stand in front of the mirror and I just insult myself over and over again as if I were a member of the alt-right.
That's amazing.
Just that keep your skills fresh.
It really works.
Yeah, when you're engaged in, the war of words on the Twitterverse,
you always need to be prepared. That's true.
Yeah.
So true. All right, now get into your next question now.
Okay, so as an autismic person, what music do you recommend listening to?
Oh, well, really the main approved one is anything by a band from the early 2000s, Days of the New, the lead singer, Travis Smith.
No. Does our J-pop count as early 2000s?
Well, it was made in 2020, Nav. So yeah,
it
was definitely
early?
Early in the sense that, early 2000s, in the 2140s, it's going to be early 2000s. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
So you got to think of the cosmic sense, Nav.
Ah.
Yeah, the greater sense. That's a great point. Yeah, anything, from around there. In particular, there's a band, Days of the New. The lead singer was autistic. Although I've been getting kind of into, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, Mongolian throat singing.
Wow.
Actually diverse.
I found some on YouTube.
That's amazing.
I've been taking some lessons
courses
at the community center. So
that's great. I'm glad to see that you're taking more steps to sort of find your roots. I want to know how can all of us be more active anti-racist? Because I think honestly that Mongolian throat thing almost seems like a step in that direction.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of it. It's interesting because I would love to say, we should all, wear a pin or, have some sort of tattoo on ourselves to identify ourselves as being anti-racist. But, we can't really count on that word getting out and it being large scale enough of a production. Personally, I'm really hoping that the, executives at, Silicon Valley are going to get involved. I think that they could do something kind of like a Find Your Friends or even like a Tinder app. It'll tell you, how far away you are from another anti-racist, so that you can huddle together.
That'd be great, like an anti-racist unite app. That we really need that.
Exactly, and it'd be pretty thorough. We would make sure that there's no trolls, bots, anything like that. You'd have to do a background check, enter in, various information, tax information, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And, and you don't have to sign up for the app, of course, then you'll be pretty much a known anti-racist and you'll be shunned by society. But I think for a fail-safe for those folks too, we need to know specifically that they didn't make a mistake. And so in order for them to continue to use like the Apple App Store or Google Play Store, anything on Android, they would also have to essentially fill out the same information.
That makes sense. I mean, it's just like a confirmation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Whether you accept or decline, we just want to know who you are and where you are.
Wow.
All right. On to the next question. This is about Elon Musk, the Musky person. Now that Elon Musk has bought Twitter, how do you think we should go about protesting?
It really scares me to think of, people that are actually actively inviting these Silicon Valley tech billionaires to control our lives and how they actually welcome that. I think that in terms of protesting, short of a civil war, I don't know exactly what we could do. I think that the world that we know it will cease to exist on that day.
For a while, Nev was like screaming out of his window in protest. Would that be helpful?
Yeah. I mean, usually it ends up with the police knocking on the door, so...
Yeah, no, I did a similar protest. A few weeks ago, I drove down to the central hive of hate known as Florida here in the United States. And I was driving around just kind of driving into school parking lots yelling gay out of my car window and everything. And it was just my own personal
fighting against the
protest against DeSantis. Yeah,
against the don't say gay bill. Wow,
like that
they say you can't say gay. What do? You go around saying
we
gay.
Say it. We say it.
I say it.
Yeah,
I say it. I said it in a 7-Eleven.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
No one did say anything back.
That's because you took a stand and they respected it. I think. And now I got to ask you back to Elon. Yeah, what do you think the biggest danger we face with Elon buying Twitter? Do we already ask this stuff? Oh no, I asked we should protest.
You kind of did, yeah. But what I'd say is look at what's already happened since he announced it. That he was going to, purchase Twitter, and then even more so since the board has accepted the offer. We've seen a rise in gas prices. We've seen a rise in inflation.
Yep.
We've seen talk of food shortages.
Sure.
All of a sudden, things start happening in the world. Like he sends the aforementioned Starlink satellite internet to the Ukraine, and all of a sudden,
that's cool.
Maripol's gone.
But yeah, that's not cool.
Where did that go? Yeah. How did those things not coincide?
You got to think about that.
Exactly.
Great point.
Very evident, correlation there.
Yeah.
All right. This brings us to our next question: is are we talking too much about Elon Musk?
Good question, because people ask that about Trump. If we talk too much about him, if that gave him power, what are your thoughts?
I do think so. I think Elon's so, last month, the last good thing that he did was,
that's hard.
It is hard. He did something, I don't know. But yeah, no, like me, I'm more for, billionaires with a heart, and a real message. I looked at people like Jack Ma, Charles Chow.
You gotta look at. You gotta be like. You ever see the Christmas Carol? You got to be like Ebenezer Scrooge at the end of the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. The changed man,
Yeah.
who's kind with his wealth, and that's exactly who these guys are. I mean, if you look, for a much larger country, they've given China Alibaba, they've given China Weibo, and I mean, those are both two things that our Olive Gardens could learn from, being
That's
Bezos
true.
and
That's true.
Musk.
I will say,
So.
I mean, Bill Gates did give us vaccines, and that was pretty cool. But definitely, there's some things that our Olive Gardens could definitely learn as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my next question here is, this is a question I think is a great question. I honestly think everybody should be thinking about this on a daily basis. But if you could ban one word, any word, what would it be?
Gosh, there's
It's a
a
tough
couple.
question.
It is.
It is.
I mean, there's a lot
think,
of words. Like there's the N word. That's a bad one.
The F word.
Well, and I think we even actually, that's interesting. I think that we even just need to ban it in that form as well. I mean, already, the true long form of the word has been banned, but this remnant, being the N word, the abbreviation of it, that needs to go as well.
Take away that too. Maybe we could just like the word that shall not be named.
Yeah.
Good
No,
point.
I've got a ton of them, honestly. I mean, let's take away straight. DeSantis takes away.
What is that, though?
We take away straight.
That's a power move right there.
No, that there is incredible.
Make
that
him
would
a
really
criminal
destroy
outside of his own borders.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Truly. Okay, on to the next question here. So, how did you go about atoning for your privilege, CHaze?
There was a period of time where what I had done is I had volunteered essentially as a live-in cultural adjustment assistant for newly immigrated families. I'd help them, at first in their daily tasks and everything like that, establish the rapport and the relationship with them. And slowly I would start, kind of, recreating, the Stanford experiment conditions for them, going, kind of the opposite way, where they were in control and I was their prisoner. Yeah, exactly. And so, that kind of basically ensured even the kindest, most generous, most, loving of people, some point would eventually psychologically and physically abuse me to a point. And so, I really did that for years. I'm going to get back into that pretty soon, probably.
Seems like an interesting hobby.
I haven't fully atoned. Yeah, no, it's a good one. Mm-hmm. And you feel cleaner after. You feel pain, but you feel cleaner, as a human, as a white, I don't want to use the M word, but
as a white person, I feel you. Now I got to ask you this: what's the best way to fend off the haters? Because the haters are always coming after people.
Doxing primarily.
Brilliant idea.
All right.
Yeah.
That usually goes on.
That's what I go for when I'm, just basically like the base minimum response. As you guys both know, we've known each other for years.
Sure.
I'm a centrist, and basically, I follow common sense. I follow the majority. So if you disagree with me in any way, what's to say that your neighbor or your boss doesn't deserve to know you're a bigot? It's a public service that I'm providing.
Yeah, it's like a public service announcement sort of thing. I do want to say the NNN News team does not endorse doxing. Those are the opinions of the guest. Next question for you, Dev.
So the next question we have on our list here is, get it back up. So we obviously love literature here on NNN News. So what literature is approved and worth reading in your view?
Good question.
Oh, gosh. There's several. I think, everybody should read. These are kind of, I always thought they were just kind of the classics we all grew up with, but apparently I've learned that a lot of people haven't actually read them. But, off the top of my head, Critical Race Theory, an introduction by Richard Delgado and Gene Stefanik.
Yeah.
The End of Policing by Alex Vitale, S. Vitale to be specific.
Wow, these
How
are
to
such
Be
thoughtful.
Anti-Racist
These are
by
such thoughtful
Ibram
picks.
X. Kendi. Coming back around with Ibram X. Kendi. He's wonderful, by the way. Anti-Racist Baby.
Anti-racist baby.
Well, that's
Yeah.
starting young. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's really good for all ages. I mean, people are parents, grandparents, or babies, and we need to all be involved in that process.
I mean, during the Trump years, we had a real bad epidemic of racist babies.
I was just about to say that now. Yeah, the racist baby thing has been a problem for a long time, so I'm glad somebody's finally tackling it. I mean, when your kid's first word is the N word, what does that say about our society? All right, that's all I'm going to say. Now, you brought up Trump, and I got to alert you. The next part of this stream is kind of scary. It's what we like to call the Trump watch. Trigger warning. It's when we get into the most recent Trump news, because that Trump guy needs to be watched 24/7. Am I right or am I right?
And who better to watch him than us?
I couldn't agree more. All right, our first story here. Okay, our first story here. Donald Trump lived in fear of being hit by dangerous fruit. Now, are tomatoes fruits?
I think they're
because in the picture they got tomatoes.
I think they're what I call a fruitable. It's like a mix of a vegetable and a fruit.
Oh wow, a fruitable? I've never heard that before. Is that the medical term?
I think it is, yeah. Like, I mean, I made it up myself, but I'm really smart anyway, so.
Yeah.
That's factual.
I'm honestly not.
Well, that's what it is for me now, too.
Mm-hmm. I'm honestly not surprised that Trump would think fruits are dangerous. He's such a homophobe,
Yeah. I mean, it's because he's not vegan. That's why he's so scared of fruitables.
Great point. Fruitables are the future, guys. Non-fruitable tokens, right? Is that what NFT stands for? Non-fruitable tokens?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Now,
I mean, you're a tech expert, Hayes. So I mean,
yeah.
we'll
do you know Hayes? Maybe you could give us a tech insight on that.
Yeah. It's done through blockchain, and it's non-fruitable tokens. You got it right.
Blockchain, non-fruitable tokens. You heard it here first, guys. So the next story, again, and this is what we do the Trump Watch. It's for these very important stories that get released about Trump tweeting Covfefe again. I mean, should we be worried now that Trump is turning Covfefe into some sort of alt-right rallying cry or something? I mean, could this be the new dog whistle?
It's essentially like a war cry or a distress call.
Oh, my God.
It's an interesting perspective that I'm a little embarrassed to admit I didn't think of, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, he thinks he's in on the joke now. This absolute moron, dolt, mango orange human being, but it could be. He could be alerting the J6 people.
Yep. This could be a coded message for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it mean if it's a coded message? I mean, maybe we can go letter by letter here. Okay, what does the C stand for? Come over, Veronica.
Very fast.
Come over very fast, efficiently, for the equinox. For the equinox, come over very fast, efficiently for the equinox. Everybody, if you are
what
a
is
witch,
the equinox?
You don't know the equinox, Steph? You really don't know?
No, this could be an alt-right equinox.
Oh my God. Okay, everybody.
We don't know what.
We need our best witches and Star Watchers to calculate the alt-right equinox, because I think that there's going to be something major happening there. I mean, the letters line up. That was foolproof code breaking.
We need to make sure that we're watching the stars, because there could be a very important message there for us.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And make sure to get your horoscope read as well.
Yeah.
That could be important.
It is important, and I'm so glad that we can still count on all these news sources to report on every one of his tweets or truths, because it's just this way we know what's happening, and we don't have to follow him on Twitter.
Exactly.
Now, our next story here is from The Guardian of Truth and Justice, I like to call them. They say, it would be a big mistake for Republicans to nominate Trump in 2024.
It would be terrible. I mean, that's just stating the obvious at that point. Everyone knows this.
I had one note on this. Do you want to read what my one note on this was, G. Hayes?
Please.
I was asking if you wanted to read it.
No, please go ahead.
Oh, it's just duh. The word duh.
I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, everyone should be well aware that it's, why are we reporting on this? It's something we all know.
Yeah. The biggest
honestly,
mistake, even.
And it's also 2 years away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy is downing 3-4 Big Macs a day. Get out of here.
Yeah,
he's not going to be around.
Good point. Now, this next article is from the Huffington Post. Says Trump's surreal White House stash room detailed in this new book. I mean, what do you guys think that he's keeping in his secret stash? I mean, Krabby
Clan
Patties.
robes.
What'd you say?
Clan robes.
Clan robes.
Tiki torches.
Yeah, I thought you said clam bake. I'm like, that's possible now, but I don't know where he'd be keeping it.
McDonald's probably as well.
Yep, the Donald subreddit, the entire thing he probably has there stashed.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? What is he hiding in these boxes of T-shirts? A lot of scary things. I will say, next thing they're going to do, they're going to have like a White House gift shop or something, because apparently in his stash room all he had was like T-shirts. I mean, could you imagine the White House having a gift shop?
I mean, I wouldn't want any of his merchandise there.
Nope.
No, absolutely.
So if it was
the
a
only thing he's
Biden
been
gift shop, that'd be
successful at
great.
is selling T-shirts and hats to simpletons.
Yeah, basic merch. I think Jacksepticeye has better merch than Trump, to be honest with you.
I'm surprised that at this point to get me to go to a Trump. Well, there's nothing you could do, but to get most people to go, I think that you'd have to at least give them the shirt,
a hat or a T-shirt.
Gift shop needed.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't. He doesn't have the draw on his own. I couldn't agree with him more. Luckily, we're at our last article for the Trump Watch, which is good. Honestly, this part always makes me just like I feel physically ill doing the Trump Watch.
It's really triggering.
I feel just sick. Honestly, I could vomit at any moment. I'm just really good at training myself not to.
Nev, I mean, could you just explain to us the physical pain you go through every time we do a Trump Watch, Nev?
So my head starts to throb. My eyes begin to kind of water. I think they're red right now. My hands are all clammy. My stomach feels like it's about to explode.
Wow.
Like it's just.
And we do this for you guys.
Yeah. Imagine hell, and then imagine if hell was reading an article, and there you go.
Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, no, it's very vivid.
Final article here. North Korean Kim Jong-un ill. I'm not sure which one, to be honest with you.
Is he ill? Is he okay?
No, I think he's all right now. Let's say North Korean Kim. That's all they call him in the article. Maybe that's because that's all they know at Reuters. North Korean Kim calls for stronger military as nuclear test work is, quote-unquote, well underway. Now, do we think this is a reaction to Trump and Putin's public relationship? Because I don't know. Do you know about this, GAs? But Trump and Kim were an item for a while.
Yeah, they seemed pretty tight. Not like Rodman, Kim tight, but they were up there.
Yeah, I mean they didn't play basketball together,
right?
But they definitely spent some romantic, presidential
they
dinners
wrote
together.
letters to each other, of course. I mean, we don't know what's in those letters, but it's probably a bit steamy.
Sure, for all we know, Trump could have sent a Polaroid of his. Well, I better not say. Really, I think this is just a classic case of Kim Jong-un being jealous, to be real with you.
Yes.
It's sad to say, but it's true.
A little bit. Look at me. And actually, I thought that they did a good job in terms of doing the article because North Korea's Kim. Personally, I read that as Kardashian, which is the same thing. A total look at me. I need the attention. Let me make a headline. Yep. So,
and not even a woman.
I think this is Kim trying to tell Trump, like, look, Donnie, look how big my missile is.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. And Donald
point.
Trump is just like, no, I want Putin's because he drives a horse, and I really like that. So, anyway, this has been the NNN News Show with our special guest CHaze. Thank you for coming, CHaze. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a blast.
No worries. Everybody, make sure to close your ears until 2 weeks from now when we have another NNN News episode and you get another bite of truth. Until then, remember to stay black, and we will see you next time.
Stay North Korean.
Wow.